Well, hey there crew, that's right, your Gamer Bro Flash here, and welcome to another live stream. And yes, Assetto Corsa is the name of the game here. Well, that's the name, of course, this racer. And interesting enough, every time I exit from one race to the next, it doesn't actually stay on my capture scene itself, so I don't know. So I'm just gonna like start off with a bit of a warm-up test drive of this racer and see what it feels like. Did have a bit of a test like when I first got the game, but the handling is so much different. But of course, it all depends on what type of vehicle that you have as well. But yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for joining at today's live stream. And yeah, very first look at this game, Assetto Corsa, and this is just the bare basic bones of this software. No DLCs at all, just giving it a go and see how it feels. And yeah, at some point, I think that's a nice enough feeling. Just might actually, actually get a few of those DLCs as well, because they do have a lot of DLC packs. Quite a few of those software developers are actually doing that, giving you the actual base game at a very reduced price, or even free sometimes, and then you get all these DLCs that you can actually get if you really are into the game software itself. So yeah, I'm not actually, for a change, gonna start with any promotions. So I'm just gonna actually just give it a go one time and see how it feels. And yeah, definitely looks quite an interesting sort of game. The graphics not too bad, and of course, as you can see here, we can actually do some fine tuning before you actually go into the race as well. Yeah. And you got Asmo, so I don't know why you hate the like that. I don't believe the truth. Okay, so it's supposed to be a very short track, and as you see, it's practice. I haven't tried the game yet at all in any shape or form in terms of actual competition or a trophy session or something of that nature. So yeah, just gonna jump straight in and see what it's got. And this is a really classic vehicle. My word. Look at those. My goodness. And you actually gotta physically change the gears. You know, like some races you get the automatic changing and stuff like that. thing about this. The gears, you can actually change the gears here. Alright, put one here. Then first. Oh my goodness. There we go. Okay, now I can do this. Yeah, so that's one thing about the game, you gotta get accustomed to have buttons to change. It's pretty much manual for some of these seems. definitely. I think that I'm sorry about that. The handling of the vehicle is a whole lot different, of course, than a lot of other races I've tried so far. And yeah, quite interesting. Assetto Corsa. I've seen some videos on YouTube of some of these guys who play the game are really off the charts in terms of how they cope with the handling, but it's a lot different than what I'm accustomed to, for sure. But like everything else, it comes with practice, and this is my very first effort with Assetto Corsa. Yep, yeah, typical racer, but vehicles a different feel and handling for sure. Maybe close to the real thing in terms of simulation. Don't have to take my word for that. Just assuming because wow, gotta be spot on with your steering and taking those corners and braking. No room for error at all. Maybe I just need better suspension at times. So yeah, tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pause, and I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna put myself in a bit of a test race and see how I fare against exactly very first competition I come up against in the game. But wow, definitely look to see if I get a vehicle that at least gives me a bit of a fighting chance.
In the electronic world of gaming, Gamer Flash live stream events brings to you a diverse array of super games that will keep your adrenaline pumping. Today, we are going to delve into the intense gameplay and strategies of some of the most exciting games out there. Get ready to dive into the world of sports with Cricket 24, fun football, and wrestling, where precision, strategy, and timing are key. Feel the thrill of the chase in tennis, where every shot counts and the pressure is always on. Switching gears, we enter the fast-paced universe of first-person shooters, with games like Battlefield, Titanfall 2, Arma 3, and BattleBit Remastered. Every corner turn could be your last, and every decision made could be the difference between victory and defeat. Red Dead Redemption 2 adds a touch of the Old West to the mix, where survival depends not only on your aim but also on your wit. From the Wild West, we move on to an arena of a different kind with fighter games like 9 Monkeys of Shaolin, Naruto Shippuden, Ultimate Ninja Storm, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, and One Piece Burning Blood. Here, it's all about the combos, the perfect blocks, and the well-timed strikes. Injustice 2, Mortal Kombat 11, and Soul Calibur 6 bring comic book characters and legendary fighters to life, where every battle is a test of skill and endurance. And if that's not enough, prepare for a chilling adventure with horror games like Folklore Hunter, Spat, A Day Out, and Dead by Daylight. Here, every sound matters, every shadow could be a threat, and survival is the ultimate goal. Left 4, Dead 2, Devour, The Forest, and Dying Light add a touch of the apocalypse, where teamwork is as crucial as your ability to fight off hordes of enemies. Gamer Flash live streams offers a gaming experience that caters to both the pro gamer and the casual player. Whether you're looking for a strategic challenge or just a fun way to pass the time, we have something for everyone. Don't forget to show your support by smashing that like button and dropping a comment. Subscribing to the channel not only keeps you updated on the latest gaming action, but also helps us continue to bring you the best in gaming. So gear up, it's time to roll into the gaming field. The world of Gamer Flash live streams awaits you. There's no time to waste, it's time for some action. Get in the game.
Absolutely no trouble getting onto it and dispatching it for 6.
And welcome back, friends. That's why Game Bro Flash here, and it seems like I have a bit of a racing event lined up here. And yeah, my practice didn't look too great, so oh my goodness, I don't know. Gonna still give this a try and see how it feels. And yeah, and you see all the competitors are already lined up there and ready to go. Something makes me feel that I'm gonna be left in the dirt here. See. Yep, I'm there. And they put me right at the back. Why? At least they should have put me at least down in at least the top 3. Oh my days. Alright, well here goes. Yeah, so that was quite interesting. Oh my days. I think I did finish last tonight. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I mean, I'm not gonna bash the game. It seems like it's pretty good, but it's gonna take some getting used to. It's more like a purist sort of game. You gotta get your steering right, gotta get your braking right, gotta know when to take those corners. It's almost a game that aims for racing perfection. Yeah, so if you're into this sort of racer game, yeah, definitely Assetto Corsa is the game for you. But yeah, I'll definitely need a lot more practice. Yeah, never ever tried a racing game like that. And yeah, definitely. So it's a game that if you cut some more to, let's say, some of the classic sort of racers, like Need for Speed and stuff like that, it's a totally different feel, and you've got to get so much things spot on to actually be competitive in the game. Yeah, but I'm gonna give it another go in a short while. Take a little short break, run some promotions, and line up another race here.
Ahoy there, you lads and lasses. Thanks for joining this action-packed Flash Gamer stream filled with gnarly fun, conquest and plunder. Remember to like, share, subscribe, drop a comment, and while you be at it, hook that notification bell icon and give it a pirate's thunderous smash. Hence to always be in the know when we be going live again. So don't you dare go anywhere. We set sails on another adventurous voyage. Right after this pause for some food, and of course, some hearty grog.
Hey gamers! Want to take your sports games to the next level? Check out Gamer Flash sports streams on YouTube. We've got everything. Last minute goals in football, amazing cricket batting and incredible boxing knockouts. Dominate in NBA basketball, win in pro tennis, get the best score in golf and speed to victory. Subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss a single stream. Join the Gamer Flash community and let's get this party started.
Hello there, it's Luffy and welcome to another Flash Tech Tips. Am I the only one that didn't know my computer's motherboard is like a mini city? Did you know your motherboard is the unsung hero of your computer? It's got everything from a CPU socket, the brain of your system, to RAM slots, your computer's short-term memory. Expansion slots like PCIe are where you plug in cool upgrades like graphics and network cards. The chipset? It's the communication hub, keeping everything running smoothly. Need power? The power connectors have you covered. And don't forget the BIOS UEFI chip. It's what gets your computer up and running every time you switch it on. The CMOS battery keeps your settings safe even when the power's off. And those I/O ports? They're your computer's way of talking to the world. Think USBs and audio jacks. So, next time you boot up, give a nod to your motherboard. It's doing a lot to keep things running. Catch you next time on Flash Tech Tips.
Hey everyone! Are you looking for some serious excitement? You know, that feeling of pure adrenaline? Well, Flash's stream is here to give you the best first-person shooter action. These battles are super intense and can be over in a flash. Sometimes you give it your all and still come up short, but hey, losing one fight doesn't mean you lost the whole thing, right? Flash's stream has everything you'd want. Crazy fast battles, smart team plays, you name it. We're all in this together, a true team. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on the action. Get ready for some epic battles because this is Flash's ultimate FPS showdown. Let's do this, soldier. It's lock and load time. Let's go, go, go.
Imagine the roar of the crowd, the thrill of the kickoff, the tension of the final moments. Gamer Flash live stream brings you right into the heart of football mania. From the grand stages of the World Cup, where international teams clash for the most coveted title in football, to the fierce local derbies in club league tournaments where regional teams battle tooth and nail. Feel every pass, tackle and goal with front row seats to continuous heart-pounding action. Whether it's the strategic play of world-class athletes at the World Cup or the raw passion of local heroes in club matches, every game promises to be a spectacle of skill and spirit. So gear up for an epic journey through the beautiful game. From the first whistle to the last, experience the highs, the lows, and everything in between. It's more than just a game. It's a series of battles, each one more thrilling than the last. Dive into the action, live where legends are made and history is written.
and welcome once again. Thank you so much for joining today's live stream. That's right, Gamer Bro Flash here, and yeah, got another race lined up for you. And like I said, Assetto Corsa seems to be quite a nice racing game, but wow, it's for the purists. If you want something in terms of that's close to the rail simulation, nothing that's too arcadey sort of thing, yep. Assetto Corsa is gonna take a bit of practice to actually get a feel of everything, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna put my hand up on that. But it's all about having some fun and getting a feel of things. And I've selected this one here. Give my vehicle a bit of a paint job, and having a look at things here. See what happens if I click this. Nothing happens there. Okay. Alright, so I'm ready to give it another go. And vehicles seem a lot slower, so hopefully I can get some of that feel of actually handling the road and taking the brakes when I'm supposed to. It's so much different feel. If you've ever played Need for Speed or any of those other EA racing games, it's like a totally different feel. And if you ever try Assetto Corsa for the first time, you're gonna be like, wow, you really gotta think like I'm actually driving a real car here. So definitely. So just gonna give it another go and see how this one goes. Okay, so that was a bit better. Probably could have done a lot better. Wow. Yeah, but like I said, this game is for the purest racer. Yeah, you gotta get everything like spot on, braking, things that you might get away with, probably Need for Speed, and games of that nature, Grid Racer, Grid Legend. Yeah, definitely. This is so much different for sure. And once again, thank you so much for joining today's live stream. Let's try your Game Bro Flash here. First look at Assetto Corsa. My goodness, what a challenging game, but enjoying it. Alright, so 2 tries, I finished last, and third try, I finished 4th. Okay, so maybe the next time I might get second or first, right? I wonder, we'll see. So gotta stay tuned, but hey, I'm gonna pause again, just for of course to change things up again, and then see exactly if I can actually hopefully finish in the top 3.
If you're a tech enthusiast, you need to hear this. Flash Tech Tips is your new go-to for all things tech. From quick software fixes to game modding tutorials, we've got it covered in bite-sized and longer tech videos. Stay updated with the latest amazing tech news and learn new tricks to enhance your digital life. Remember to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, drop a comment, and activate notifications. Dive into the future of tech with Flash Tech Tips.
If your cricket career isn't as epic as Flash's, time to step up your game. Welcome to Flash Cricket 24 Club Career Live Gameplay. Our favourite all-rounder is smashing records and taking names. With every match, Flash's skills are hitting new heights. His last performance, absolutely stellar. Ready to see if he keeps up the momentum? Stay tuned, because more live action is coming your way. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you once again for joining this Gamer Flash live stream. Remember to smash that like button. Drop a comment and flash subscribe to this channel. Also make sure to activate the notifications bell icon. Thanks once again, as you are so super awesome. And don't you dare go anywhere. This gaming session will resume in a short while.
Right you are. It is Master Yoda. Flash Gamer Stream will be right back. It is.
And once again, joining this live stream. I'm gonna grab myself a delicious deep dish pizza. Yeah, one of my custom pizzas. I do love making pizzas. Of course, I gotta have a nice cold drink to go along with it. And don't forget to give a thumbs up and drop a comment and activate the notifications bell icon so you'll always be in the know when next I go live. So don't you dare go anywhere. This live stream will return in a flash. Hey, 1 second, crew. I'll be right back. Yeah, just a little bit of something to take care of, and I'll stay back in the game, right? 1 second. And welcome back. Apologies for that. Yeah, just had to take care of something quickly. Well, wasn't as quick as I thought it was, but yeah. Anyways, let's get straight back into the action and see exactly if I can still get something out of this race. yes, definitely. Assetto Corsa is a game that you really have to get accustomed to, and I'm definitely not accustomed to this sort of dynamics in terms of actual mechanisms of the actual game itself. It is so different to Grid Legends or Need for Speed, and yeah, Need for sure it'll take some time to get accustomed to it. And it's so, like I said, for the purist of racing, braking, steering, everything has to be precise, otherwise you're skating everywhere. Oh my goodness. Definitely have to be patient. Yeah, look at that. You get all the bells. They're so strict. So I'm losing a whole set of laps here. Yeah, so can I tell you what? I definitely believe I can do a lot better than this match or this actual racing. Too many errors in this one. Gonna have to give it another go. So bear with me 1 second. I'm gonna see if I can give it another shot. And once again, thank you so much for joining today's live stream. Assetto Corsa is the name of the game. Definitely almost a purest sort of racer game. And you're really gonna have to be quite a top racer gamer to really master this. Everything is quite precision in many ways indeed. So I made this game itself, custom game. Put myself at the bottom again. Oh my goodness. Right, so it's called Assetto Assetto Racer game. 15 competitors in this one. And I have done for about 10 minutes. So let's see if we can actually at least get into the top 5 in this one. Yeah, definitely a game you gotta take your time with, and even if you see the competition like really passing you by and zapping through the track, yeah, you just gotta keep it cool and just keep on the track, take those scores, brake on time, otherwise you're definitely gonna be ending up all in the grass and the side of the roads and off track. And that's never good in a racing game at all. Alright, so I'm going to try one more. Right, so I'm going to have to see if I can organize a really special one. So just give me moments and I'll do another custom racing game. And see if I can definitely keep a nice play momentum for this one. Yeah, so it's a game that if you really love racing game and love the purest style of racing, simulation, really feels like you're really in a racing track, so to speak. Yeah, I think you definitely would love Assetto Corsa for sure. But if you're accustomed to something more like Need for Speed, arcade-ish sort of simulation racer, yeah, you just might struggle for the first time trying it out. Alright, so give me a moment. I'll custom make another game and see if I can definitely get some skill level right up in this next racer. And welcome back, friends. That's right, again, Bro Flash trying out Assetto Corsa for the very first time. Wow, it's been quite a bumpy ride with lots of spills and off track, all kind of stuff, and my word, quite an interesting racing game. Yep, definitely. You love racing and you love a challenge. This definitely is the game for you for sure. And I've just created this game here. And, yeah, definitely quite interesting. I've chosen the McLaren for this one. And, definitely should be quite an interesting challenge here. I'm gonna probably go with slick soft tires and pump that up just a little bit. And let's have a look at the fuel here. At least 30 litres should be good for 3 laps, definitely. Alignment, so I don't really want to mess with that. And the differential power, the differential course. I'll leave that as it is for now. Yeah, so for my first pit stop, yeah, I could add some another liter of fuel and another change of tires, and probably just keep the pressure, of course, for front and back tires about the same there. Probably just a liter further on the second one as well. And yeah, slick soft tires, pump it up by 1. And the third pit stop, because I haven't really made much of a pit stop so far in the game except once, but you just never know, right? And yeah, maybe for the third pit stop I could go probably slick medium tires and pump it up one again. See how that goes. Yeah. So why not? Let's give it a run, and it's just 3 laps per race. I think it's 3 maps, 3 race maps or circuits. And yeah, keep it short and sweet to the point. Yes, gotta try and make sure I focus and don't think too far ahead and keep on track. Otherwise, yeah, it's not gonna look too pretty. So here goes. subscribe to this channel and activate the notifications bell icon. Feel free to show your support and lock those battle shields high. Spartans, this Flash live stream will return in just a Spartan Warrior moment.
It's you favorite renegade. Deadpool, of course, and great to see you on here. Well, my Uber's still driving around under the speed limit, and since I'm late for Rover shampoo, yep, decided to give you a shout. Remember to hammer that like button, drop a comment, flash subscribe to this channel, and activate the notification bell icon, so you'll always know when next we go live. This Gamer Flash live stream will resume in a Flash pool moment.
If your cricket career isn't as epic as Flash's, time to step up your game. Welcome to Flash Cricket 24 Club Career Live Gameplay. Our favourite all-rounder is smashing records and taking names. With every match, Flash's skills are hitting new heights. His last performance, absolutely stellar. Ready to see if he keeps up the momentum? Stay tuned, because more live action is coming your way. Don't go anywhere.
End of the over, and a very nicely bowled one. Not much opportunity score runs there.
Ahoy there, you landlubbers! Ready to embark on a gameplay voyage that's lots of fun? Welcome aboard Flash Live Stream, where every wave brings a new story. With lots of variety and epic moments, we're your trusty ship navigating the vast ocean of this gamer quest. Dive into some sports, FPS, fighter, horror, and much, much more. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, or we'll feed you to the Kraken. Join the Gamer Quest ventures with Flash Live Stream.
And once again, thank you so much for joining today's live stream. My goodness, one of those days with a lot of distractions. Oh, it's not a flow sort of stream at all, is it? But thank you once again, of course, for joining. And of course, very first look at Assetto Corsa Racer. And it's quite a racing game indeed. And if you're a purist sort of racer and really love that sort of thing, and you have a good bit of hours of practice under the belt, this definitely is a game for you. Yeah, it's definitely spot on in terms of how you handle the vehicle, braking, taking the corners, and accelerating, decelerating. Yeah, there's a lot of different features, of course, to the game that the purist racer is definitely gonna like. So there's actually an online feature I'm trying to see if I can actually activate and get into, and yeah, it should be quite interesting. And trying to see if there's a server list that's up, and my goodness, quite a game. I have tried several racers, but Assetto Corsa is a racing game all by itself, and you're definitely gonna have quite a challenge even for the very first time. And if you're a first time racer, oh my goodness, oh my days, you're really gonna have quite a tussle if you've never even tried a racing game before. Yes, it can be quite overwhelming for the very first timer, but if you're a purist and you have confidence in your racing skill, yeah, definitely give it a go. And yeah, you should run through all those races with ease, of course. So I have a bit of a server list here, seeing if it is joinable. Interesting. So there's a server that's coming up here. It says the servers available slots exceed the number of pit boxes for mods. Slight twist. And then again, I don't have any of the DLCs for the game. I just got the bare bones game, and they have a lot of cool vehicles that I have not even looked at even getting. Really decided to give it a first look and then decide from there. Of course, don't forget tomorrow I have some first-person shooter action for you, and that's tomorrow. Got a nice variety of FPS games lined up, and I do have a couple I haven't launched for server gameplay as yet, so I may or may not introduce a new one for the first time, but definitely. And there's another one that I want to try to get to work the way I want to. Yeah, so definitely I think I might do some configurations as well before I launch that FPS gameplay tomorrow. Yeah, so that's tomorrow. Make sure you got the notification bell icon activated, and you know exactly when I go live with that. And the next day, it's the big one for those of you who love cricket. Yep, huge match, and it's ODI this time. Full 50 overs, a whole 100 over match. That's a lot of overs, and it's England taking on Bangladesh. The three lions, imagine, whole three lions taking on the Bengal Tigers, and I did choose a stronger team for the first match in this tournament, then a weaker team for the second match. So I'm rotating back to a stronger statistically team, and of course England. But in the cricket sense of things, it's tactically, technically, statistically stronger than Bangladesh. But Bangladesh is a very good team though. But I decided to choose England for that match, and that will be taking place on Saturday. So it's the three lions taking on the Tigers Saturday, and yeah, don't want to miss that. That one is going to be a barnyard burner. That's going to be nothing but fireworks from the very beginning to the end of that match for sure. And on Sunday, yep, the action continues on Sunday. Argentina, that's right, some FIFA World Cup action, all world class of course, and full 20 minutes. And Argentina will be taking on the United States. Yeah, you might be saying, yeah, Argentina should win that game easily, right? But of course, Argentina is statistically a lot stronger than the United States in football, but it's all world class in FIFA, and you definitely have to defend well and get the midfield into action, and supporting and their attacking players as well. Otherwise, if you don't get things moving, yep, you could definitely have a surprise, and definitely that's a match you don't want to miss. And that's this Sunday right here on this channel, and you definitely don't want to miss that at all. Okay, let's try another one and see how this one goes. I did try this car a little earlier, and yeah. And looking at the years, max speed gear 2 kilometers an hour, 129. Max gear 3 that is. Of course, the one was previous was gear 2, 129. And max gear 3 can go up to 181, and max gear 6 can go up to 339. My goodness. Yep. And I guess we'll stick with the defaults for that one. And this is called time attack, so I guess we've got to do everything within a certain period of time. And yeah. Definitely. Fingers crossed, I can nail this one. And definitely was the first look at Assetto Corsa. Assetto Corsa racing game. And does go on sale quite often. And if you're really looking for a racing challenge, this game is definitely for you. And once again, thank you so much for joining today's live stream. As always, was fun. Probably not my best ever first look game, but oh well. Definitely did learn quite a lot from the game itself. And yeah, definitely it is for the purist racer. When I say purist, I mean those who actually love hardcore sort of racing games. Everything's in there, from penalties to a lot of knowing when to do the right thing on the track. Everything is so precise. And yeah, if you've never played a racing game before, I think you should probably try something else. But ultimately, yeah, definitely if you can play Assetto Corsa, I think you can play any racing game. Of course, don't forget, have some FPS gameplay lined up here. Of course, that's ODI cricket match the next day. That's going to be quite a match. That's right, Team England taking on Bangladesh in a super ODI clash. And then on Sunday, Argentina, that's right, led by the GOAT himself, Messi, taking on the United States. That's Sunday. Don't forget to keep that notification bell icon activated so you'll always be in the know when next I happen to go live. So here's where I'm going to wrap up this live stream. Thank you ever so much for joining today. Of course, here's where I'm going to run a few promotions and of course leave you in the very, very, very capable hands of my artificial intelligence. So until the very next stream, my friends, that's tomorrow. Here's the old Gamer Bro Flash signing off. Until then, it's goodbye for now.
Hey everyone, and welcome. Let me tell you why you absolutely need Flash Cricket Stream. We're talking huge hits, amazing wickets, and action all the time. From those awesome long test matches to super fast T20 and crazy exciting 10-10 showdowns. We've got every kind of cricket you could want. You can watch live matches, see quick highlight shorts of the best parts, and even get exclusive player of the match presentations all in one spot. Don't miss a single thing. Make sure you click that notification bell so you always know what's happening. Like this video, subscribe to our channel and share it with your friends to join the Flash Cricket Stream family. We're bringing the cricket action straight to you no matter where you are. Flash Cricket Stream, it's fun cricket. On the go.
Hey gamers! Want to take your sports games to the next level? Check out Gamer Flash sports streams on YouTube. We've got everything. Last minute goals in football, amazing cricket batting and incredible boxing knockouts. Dominate in NBA basketball, win in pro tennis, get the best scoring golf and speed to victory. Subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss a single stream. Join the Gamer Flash community and let's get this party started.
Hey everyone! Are you looking for some serious excitement? You know that feeling of pure adrenaline? Well, Flash's stream is here to give you the best first-person shooter action. These battles are super intense and can be over in a flash. Sometimes you give it your all and still come up short, but hey, losing one fight doesn't mean you lost the whole thing, right? Flash's stream has everything you'd want. Crazy fast battles, smart team plays, you name it. We're all in this together, a true team. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Share it with your friends, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on the action. Get ready for some epic battles because this is Flash's ultimate FPS showdown. Let's do this, soldier. It's lock and load time. Let's go, go, go.
Well, thanks for joining today's live stream. Was fun presenting the gameplay with the Flash. We'll keep you posted when next we go live. Remember to lasso smash that like button, comment, subscribe, and activate the notification bell icon. Keep galloping after those dreams. Well, so long, crew. I'm out.
Thanks for joining today's live stream. Was fun presenting the gameplay along with the Flash. We'll keep you posted when next we go live. Remember to smash that like button, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to activate the notification bell. See you next time. Have an awesome Warrior Day. Bye for now.
Hi, I'm Chucky.
Well, thank you for joining today's live stream. Was really fun, needed a little extra Chucky flavor to the gameplay. But anyway, we'll keep you posted as to when next we go live. Remember to hit that like button. And drop a comment, Flash subscribe to the channel. Also activate the notification bell icon, so as to know when next another live stream will be on. So until the next time, have a useful Chucky Good Guy Day. Well, you're really still there. Take care and so long.
Shiver me timbers, you won't believe what just happened. Thanks for watching another Gamer Flash live stream, mateys. Ha ha ha. He almost walked the plank in this one. Don't forget to rate, share and subscribe, drop a comment and ring that notification bell to know when there's another live stream. Time for me to plunder more loot and bury treasure in Davy Jones's locker. Then get some hearty grog and do a merry pirate's jig. Take care and see ye on the high seas soon, you soft-footed landlubbers. Bye.
Well, thank you very much for joining today's live stream. Was Flashtastic co-hosting along with Gamer Flash? But I think Bro needed to add a few more of my extra Flash moves to the gameplay. But anyway, we will keep you posted as to when next we go live. Remember to smash that like button. And drop a swift comment, and Flash subscribe to this channel. Remember to activate the notification bell icon, so to keep you in the know when next another Flash stream will be on the way. So until the next time, have a positive day, and we'll swiftly see you all again soon. Well, I'm on the move again, we'll catch you another time. Take care and so long.
Well, thanks for joining today's live stream. Was actually fun presenting the gameplay along with Flash. We'll be sure to keep you posted when next we do go live. Remember to power smash the like button, comment, Flash subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to activate the notification bell icon, as to always be in the know when next we go live. So until next time, have a great wonderfully peaceful day. There's great power and good within you. Well, it's goodbye now, my planetary friends.